We are now recording. So I want to welcome everyone to the July webinar on health and wellness. Today we are going to be talking a lot about personal health and wellness, something that we have been focused on as an organization for the month of July, and then also talking a lot about the health and wellness of your chapter and how the two really go hand in hand. So this evening I am joined by the 2016 JCI USA National Vice President, Chris Putz. He is also a certified CrossFit trainer. So just in the fact that he is certified in something and I like to sit on my couch, that's why I've asked him to join this webinar tonight to cover the personal health and wellness portion. So welcome, Chris. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Membership Director Noel.
Very excited to have you join us this evening and to talk about personal health and wellness and chapter health and wellness. So as you can see on your screen, Chris and I have been friends for quite some time. I actually had the opportunity to serve as National Vice President for the state of Iowa, where he is from, where his home chapter is the Dubuque JCs. So we've gotten to be very good friends over the years. So our objectives for this evening are to talk about how we can apply the tips on personal health and wellness to our chapter's health and wellness. It's going to get us thinking about how we can balance our professional and personal commitments, and then also some resources that JCI USA has to help, along with some resources that Chris is going to provide to help us as well. So with that, I'll let Chris take it away.
All right, well, thank you very much, Noel. So I'm super excited to be here, but I think it's only appropriate.
Oh, Chris, you cut out.
Oh, did I?
Nope,
Can you
you're
hear
back.
me now?
Yes.
All right. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. No, so I'm very excited to be with you guys tonight, and I'm really excited. Health and wellness is a passion of mine, as is the JC, so these two kind of meld together. So the first thing we always like to talk about when we talk about any kind of health and wellness program is fueling yourself. There's an old adage out there that says no amount of exercise can un-exercise a bad diet. And it's 100% true that's how it goes. So a couple of things here that I always say is health and wellness is more than a number. Time and time again, we get caught up with what a scale says that magic number is, or what that we think that number should be. In actuality, weight is simply, I always tell my clients, all it is the gravitational pull on your body. It's just a number, and without actually diving into it, it doesn't mean anything. You know, I sit at 220 pounds today, which according to every medical chart in the world is unhealthy because it's 220 pounds. However, I do believe I'm extremely healthy when I look at the inside and what's all there. And so that's what the big thing about wellness is, more than just a number. And it's also important to remember when we talk about fueling ourselves, that healthy choices and consequences. So while yes, it's a lot more fun to be able to swing by Dairy Queen and pick up one of the new salted caramel blondie brownies, not that I have or anything like that, but there's consequences that come with that. And it's more so about making a bad decision, or maybe kind of straying from the path a little bit, versus knowing I should probably go home, I should cook my own food, I should know where it came from, because I'm fueling myself for everything I want to accomplish. I'm setting myself up for success by making healthy choices with food versus going the easy route and grabbing something from a fast food restaurant, or shoot, anymore, even now your grocery stores that have just obscene amounts of pre-prepared food for you. And sometimes it may look good for you, but when you dig into it and look at the ingredients, it's kind of a shocker what they all put in there. And then also when it comes to fueling yourself, any extreme is never healthy. You know, I've been around for a long time, and I started my journey of health and wellness at 300 pounds. So I lost 100 pounds for some background before I got into becoming a trainer and getting more healthy, and then trying to inspire others to do the same. And you know, I went on every extreme diet there was out there, and it's like I had to drop those pounds, I had to drop those pounds, I had to lift heavier or do something. And all of that did was kind of set me up for failure. And that's not the goal when we talk about health and wellness. We want to talk about sustainable, long-term progress. And so when we talk about that, don't look at extremes. You know, I always say eat healthy 6 days a week, 1 day a week, relax a little bit, have fun, go ahead, get that Dairy Queen. You know, I'm habitual. I grocery shop 6:30 in the morning on Sundays, and sure enough, when I walk by the bakery, I do grab one of those donuts that's fresh baked, and it probably doesn't make it out of the parking lot because it's amazing, but that's my treat for working hard all week long. So we don't want to go at extremes because after all, we are humans and we have to live too.
And I think that there is a lot of correlation between fueling yourself and how you can fuel your members and fuel your chapter so that they continue to perform well. So one way that you can begin doing that is motivating your members and finding out what it is that motivates your members to do their best, to be their best. So this could include, you know, recognizing your members. Do you do a Member of the Month award? Do you recognize board members for their good work? Do you do a JC Spotlight where, you know, in a newsletter or on social media you talk about them? Do you provide a lot of social opportunities for your members so that they can be motivated to do different kinds of things, you know, whether that's going bowling as a chapter or just having a social happy hour, something like that? Are you providing a lot of leadership development? Our mission is to provide development opportunities that empower young people to create positive change. So we want to make sure that we're providing a lot of leadership development opportunities for our members, and that's going to motivate them to be their best, and it's going to help fuel them and fuel your chapter. And then also reminding them that this is a great resume opportunity. It's a great way for them to network. I know a lot of members who joined the organization because they were looking to grow their personal business or, you know, find more clients, etc., and then have stayed because of all of the other things that they have gotten out of the organization. So just really knowing what your chapter members are motivated by and what they want to accomplish to continue to fuel them. Another way to fuel your chapter is to remember the 1 year to lead mentality. So this is important because it helps filter new ideas into our chapter. So if you serve on your board of directors as the individual development vice president, ideally next year you're going to oversee a new area, or maybe you'll move on and be the chapter president, or you'll serve on a regional or a state level board, so that you're always kind of having that 1 year to lead mentality. So you're bringing new ideas into your chapter with the new leaders on your board, and then you're also gaining additional growth opportunities because you're able to move up the ladder. And again, that can be put on your resume, can help you build your skills to find new and better jobs, promotions, etc. Another great way to fuel your chapter is to have a really great recruitment plan, because adding new members and new blood into your chapter is going to build your chapter's capacity, and that's absolutely going to help fuel it. So when you're having a recruitment plan, you want to make sure that you have a prospect list, so that you have a list of people in your community who you want to target to be a part of this organization. These could be people you know, they could be friends of people you know, they could be small business owners that you know, see them when you're in a local restaurant and you know that they look to be of JC age. They could be, you know, people if you have a 40 under 40 by your chamber, or other recognitions that you can go out and look for. Just really have a prospect list that helps you identify those people in your community who you want to be a part of your chapter, who will help your chapter grow and succeed. You also want to make sure in that prospect list that you're looking for certain kinds of professions of people that you want in that chapter. Maybe, you know, it would be great if you had an attorney, so that you had someone who could review the bylaws when you wanted to make changes, or a CPA and someone who could help the chapter file their taxes. Maybe your chapter needs a good mechanic and someone that you can refer your members to, you know, when they need to have new brakes put on their car, etc. And then the next thing, make sure you're utilizing your current members, that you know what your current members' strengths are, and you're engaging them to help in recruit new members. I always say that members usually fall into at least one of three categories. They're a greeter, so they can meet people. They've never met a stranger, and they can always, welcome that new person into the fold and make them feel comfortable. They could be a promoter, so they're a person who is able to talk about the JCs and the great ways that we build our members' capacities and are able to give a lot of the benefits of being a member of the organization. And then we have the closers, and those are the people who aren't afraid to ask for the check or ask for the money at the end. It's important that when you have a recruitment plan that all of your members know what your elevator pitch is. So they all know, the quick 2 to 3 sentences, what you want to say to potential members. Even if you run into someone at the grocery store and you're wearing a JC t-shirt and they ask you what the JCs are, being able to clearly articulate in 2 to 3 sentences, this is what my chapter does in my community, this is what we're doing to build young leaders, etc. And then also having an onboarding plan. So when you do recruit new members into the chapter, making sure that you are having a connector with them at least once a month. Someone's reaching out to them to go to coffee, someone is texting them, someone's offering to pick them up to come to a chapter meeting, etc. And then you also want to make sure that you have a good succession plan. This is going to fuel your chapter. So knowing who is coming in line after you. And this helps because it helps provide strategic direction. If you can look forward and have an idea of who will be on the board of directors for next year and the year after that and the year after that, it helps you, really set a strategic direction for your chapter so that you can sit down and say, these are the goals that we want to accomplish in the next 3 years. Maybe in 3 years, it's realistic for you to grow your chapter by 25 members. Well, you need to have all of the key players who are going to be a part of that 3-year process at the table so that they can have buy-in to that strategic plan and those goals. It helps mentorships form. And when you have a succession plan, it kind of helps, those natural mentorships form so that people can say, hey, when I was in your shoes 2 years ago, or next year when you're in this position, here's what you should watch out for. And then it also helps with message consistency. I think that we get in the habit as an organization that every year a new leader comes in and they think they have to reinvent the wheel. And that really doesn't have to happen. If you have a good succession plan and you're all working towards the same strategic plan and goals, then you're going to have a consistent message from year to year.
Alrighty. So next thing up, when we talk about health and wellness, and once we get things in line with the whole fueling yourself and getting yourself taken care of, is we got to address physical fitness. And I really look at physical fitness as like, where do you want to go? So if we go ahead and we look at the next slide that we have here, I think what we have is basically it's time to work. I love to work out. If you look at my Instagram or my Facebook, you'll see photos of it all the time. But ultimately, I boil it down to this. We are humans, and humans are animals. At the most basic level, we were made to work and not to sit at a desk. So in the world of health and wellness, the big thing lately is they've actually determined that sitting at a desk all day long is almost as deadly as smoking because it creates all sorts of havoc, and it's actually fairly bad for your spine. And so we need to make sure that we try and counteract that through doing work. And, a lot of times we look at it, and I know when I first got started into health and wellness, I was just like, gosh, what do I want to do? Because the first time I worked out, I was like, holy cow, Batman, I am sore. And I'm not truly sure that this running gig is for me. And so it's all about finding your niche. What do you like to do? And then finding ways to take what you like to do and turn it into a healthy habit. Like for me, I despise running at all costs. I just don't like it. However, I do love moving barbells. And so that's kind of what I fell into. For some people, it's Zumba. For other people, it's like my world, CrossFit. And also, when it comes down to this, exercise can be hard, and it's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to get a little dirty in the CrossFit world because, I mean, it's just barbells and floors basically, and it's okay to sweat, and it's okay to do that. It's what we were made to do. We were made to do work, and so part of it in getting that workout time and that soreness afterwards, it's okay with just understanding that, hey, this is the way it is and this has changed. And after a while, that uncomfortable nature kind of goes away, and you really fall into your niche and you really begin to enjoy it. And you make it a habit, and it's important to do it. And so you want to go and you look forward to it every day. You find yourself scheduling time to make time for it. And then it's also important, and this is something that I've struggled with over time, is always stretch. It's important to take a little bit of a break to take care of yourself. Stretch, yoga, hot yoga, that kind of stuff, because if you don't take care of yourself and you don't make sure that your body is well maintained, you can actually get hurt. And we don't want to get into that world. And so it's really important just to take time, take care of yourself, or even possibly, look into like Epsom salt massages, that kind of stuff, because it really does help with overall recovery. And great recovery means that you're going to be able to hit the gym even harder the next time.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So in having, in being fit yourself, we can also relate that to having a fit chapter, making sure, and this doesn't mean making sure that everyone in your chapter looks like Chris, because we know that that's not always possible. A few of them are going to look like me. So, but having an active chapter means something different when we talk about in the chapter. So having an active chapter, having a diverse number of projects that you're doing, not always just doing the same projects every single year. Yes, we have a lot of projects that we have done for a long time, and they are a great tradition, and they are a great things, to do in our community, but making sure that you're diversifying those projects, that you're adding new projects in there. That just give members the opportunity to be more active. And they don't have to be big, $30,000 projects. It can be something as simple as an ID project where you go to an ethnic cuisine restaurant for one evening, or, doing something like a yoga class, or trying something fun where you take your dog to yoga or something like that. Make sure that you have fun with it and you diversify. And again, having social opportunities for your members. And this is more than just having an M night. Maybe it's going together as a chapter to a baseball game, or it's going camping for the weekend as a chapter. Things that can be relatively inexpensive for your members, inexpensive for the member or for your chapter, but still giving you that opportunity to get together and not always talk about the business of the chapter or what project you need to do. Yeah, that's probably all going to happen anyway, because we love this organization and we love to talk about it, but giving them more of a social opportunity. Visiting other chapters is a great way to have an active chapter. I think that it is always so great to see when chapters are at other chapters visiting and maybe playing games and, maybe stealing some of their things and holding it for ransom, or, having competitions to see who can travel the most miles in a quarter, etc. Having an active chapter, it's about getting out there and mingling with other chapters and sharing ideas and sharing best practices. And then, of course, participating in your regional, state, and national activities. That's going to help you have an active chapter too, because it's going to broaden your horizons. You're going to meet people from different states. If it hadn't been for this organization, Chris and I would have never met and become friends. And I have literally hundreds of friends through this organization that I wouldn't have met without being a JC. So participating in those state, national, regional events, whatever it may be, even international events, having the opportunity to travel internationally, that's part of having an active chapter and giving your members the opportunity to truly embrace everything that this organization can be. They can have truly have a global impact. Submitting awards is a great way to have an active chapter, because it helps you celebrate the great things that you are doing and get some recognition for those great things that you're doing. And then last but not least, competing in competitions. participating in Speak Up, participating in debate. I think that those are all great ways to really stretch your members and help them step outside of their comfort zone, and then also make sure that you're providing great activities for them to participate in. Finding your niche in your community is another great way to make sure you have an active chapter. Knowing what it is that your community needs from you. If we are charged with creating positive change in our communities, we have to know what our communities need from us. So the ways that you can do that is you can conduct community surveys. So you can talk to government officials, business owners, citizens, etc., and really survey them to find out what it is that they want, help with from your chapter. You can go to city council meetings, and hear people talking about the issues at hand and what they're concerned about, the citizens and the council members. You get to network with people in your community when you meet those city councilors, when you meet the mayor, when you meet those small business owners. It's giving your members a great opportunity to network and to, really broaden their horizons. And then last but not least, once you figure out what it is that your community needs, you can adjust your programming so that you are fulfilling their needs. So if you find out through community surveys that, your community is really looking for an accessibility playground, then okay, we can start fundraising for this. We can start working. How can we take the initiative to help this happen in our community, to make this a reality within our community for our citizens? And that's really such a great sense of pride. And it's when you have an active chapter who's truly helping their community, it just makes you feel really good, and it makes you feel a really great sense of accomplishment. Again, like when you stretch yourself and take care of yourself, our stretch for our chapter is to encourage people to step outside of their comfort zones and stretch themselves a little in ways that they wouldn't normally do that. For a lot of people, public speaking is their number one fear. They absolutely hate to get in front of a group of people and speak. And I can't tell you how many people in this organization I have met who say, when I first became a JC, I could not stand up in front of more than 3 people and talk. And then, they're in front of a room of 100 plus people giving a speech. So this organization really gives people an opportunity to step outside of their comfort zone and do things that make them a little uncomfortable. Chairing a project is another great way to kind of stretch your members. If you have members who say, oh no, I'm a worker bee, I'm not a manager, letting them have that opportunity to chair a project is really going to give them those hands-on skills that are going to make them look so much more attractive to future employers or to get raises at their current employer. The same goes for running for office. If they have the opportunity to become an officer and serve on your local board, that's going to be a whole new set of skills that they're going to learn, that it's going to help fuel them and make them more excited, and it's also going to keep your chapter active. And then also trying a brand new project, whether that's an individual development project or a community project for the community, just trying something brand new that you've never done before. It might succeed and it might fail. And if it fails, that's okay too. You tried it and it's not the right fit, and maybe next year you try something different. The next that we're going to talk about is balance, and I'll let Chris talk about physical fitness and balance.
Very true, because in the world of physical fitness, especially in the CrossFit world, which is where I come from, you'll see on this slide, I should say, we have Bugs Bunny and we have the Abominable Snowman. And I'm probably dating myself a little bit here, Noelle, but I remember watching the Bugs Bunny and Tweety show, and there was a cartoon all the time that would come on with the Abominable Snowman that would just grab Bugs Bunny, and it's my bunny, and I love him, and I'm going to pet him and squeeze him and hold him with love. And meantime, Bugs Bunny's like choking to death. And so we need to understand that, balance is really, really important, and everything in the world is important to us, but sometimes too much of anything is a little bit too much. And that's true whether you want to be a bodybuilder, a marathoner, or even a CrossFitter. And so when you look at what you want, if we can hop ahead, vary your workout. my method of exercise is a little bit of everything. Do you like to run? Do you like to walk fast? Do you like to weight lift? Is yoga more of your thing in finding the balance, or Zumba? Or perhaps it's a little bit of everything, because after all, you want to always kind of change things up, because with repeating things over and over and over in the fitness world, it just builds stagnation, and you actually stop progressing forward and actually regress if you only run, say you only run 4 miles per day every day, 5 days a week, or you only weight lift the same muscle groups every time, or you only do yoga, or you only do Zumba. Eventually your body adapts to that, and that becomes the new normal. And if you don't change it up, you're actually going to take steps back. And so you always want to vary it up. And it's like we talked about earlier, it's okay to be uncomfortable. Change it up, find something different. If you want to hop ahead.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And so, Noelle, I will turn it over to you and talk about balance on the chapter.
Thank you. Yes, because we absolutely want to make sure that we are balancing our chapters in order to have a healthy chapter. So in ways we can do that, we can use the areas of opportunity as a great way to diversify our programming, making sure that once a month or once every other month, we are including projects in our repertoire that fall into one of these areas. So doing an individual development project, which could be a fitness class or a different dining out or something like that. Doing a community project, whether that is a Easter egg hunt, a haunted house, whatever it is that you're doing to make an impact in your community, doing those frequently, even if they're smaller projects in between. A business or a management project, depending on what you refer to it as in your chapter, making sure that you're operating your chapter smoothly, making sure that you're engaging with your members and that you're providing them business acumen or management development skills. And then the international aspect, of course, is always something that you can consider and something that you can grow your members. I know a lot of chapters participate in a twinning program where they can actually go to other countries. I know that our friends from JCI Wisconsin who have joined us this evening recently came back from Germany, and so they did a whole twinning experience with JCI Germany. So those kind of opportunities are out there, and it doesn't always have to be traveling abroad. If you participate in a state and national convention, that can count towards an international project. Going to an international restaurant or seeing a foreign film, things like that, just where you're kind of getting a taste of something outside of your typical culture or your typical community. Prioritizing, remembering that our members are volunteers. None of us are paid to participate in this organization. I actually recently heard someone say that probably your volunteer opportunity, even if you're very dedicated, is probably about your third or fourth priority. And for some people, the JCs may not even be in their top 5 if their top priorities are their family and their faith and their work and their friends and waffles. Just throwing that in there. Mainly that JCs don't even fall into that top 5 list of what your priorities are or what your members' priorities are. So remembering that our members need to prioritize, the events that they want to attend. So you don't see every single member at every single event. And if you are one of those members who attends every single event and has something going on every single week, give yourself a break. You're not expected to attend everything. Pick and choose, prioritize, make some time for yourself. Which leads us to rest. And I'll let Chris talk about resting.
You hit that right on the nail there, Noelle, because taking time for yourself is so very important. I love this photo, and I really wish this was my doggy. So I just love this because it epitomizes everything about rest. It's all about you. And so when we talk about rest in the health and fitness world, if you want to hop ahead, what we're talking about is really just giving our bodies and our minds an opportunity to just relax. Just a second here. Noelle, can we advance real quick? Oh, there we are. Okay, so like I indicated earlier, too much of anything can lead to injury. And whether it is, physical injury or mental injury, it's kind of what we talk about. So rest days are important. And today is actually a rest day for me. I take Thursdays and Sundays completely off from the fitness world. And I actually try to do nothing related to the fitness world. Even though I train 45 people every day, it's important to me to just take a break and decompress. That's why I actually hired an extra coach in my world so that I can take time and not focus on that, because one, I want to avoid getting hurt. I'm not a spring chicken, but I do love moving heavy weights and doing a lot of gymnastics work. And so if I don't take it easy on my joints and my muscles and stuff, I'm going to get hurt, and that rest is important. And it also, the bigger thing is avoid burnout. A lot of times when we get started into any kind of fitness trend, or we get into it for a while, you get through this is the mundane day-to-day. I have to go to the gym. I'm going to go through the process of this. I'm going to see the same 5 people or 10 people. And you can get burnt out, and all of a sudden something else comes up, and it's really easy to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to go, run out to my friend's place tonight, and they're having a bonfire. I'm going to sit around. I'll catch up with the gym another day. And all of a sudden mentally we burn out and we start regressing again, and that's not the goal. And then the biggest thing is scheduling me time. And I know that sounds selfish, especially this day and age when we're saying everybody needs to go do more, they need to be more active, we need to be more socially involved. Me time is great if you can take some time and really, like this picture shows you right here, really kind of just zone out, do something you like, read a book or watch a movie, just relax, go to a park, get outside, get fresh air, go fishing. There's a million things you can do that's just you and whatever you want to do in your mind. You don't have to take in anything else, any of the other stressors outside of the world, because psychologically it's very, very refreshing to you. You'll come back the next day rearing and ready to go. And in the world of physical fitness, that carries over directly into your profession. Because if you hit the gym strong, you're going to feel better, you're going to look better, you're going to go to work, you're going to be more proud, you're going to be more productive, you'll get sick less, and that's the benefit of rest days. It really helps recharge the batteries. Oh, we got another puppy. I love it. So, Noelle?
I was not unmuted. My apologies for that. But yes, puppies are the best, and they are so cute when they sleep. So it is very important that you also rest your chapter, and that's so we avoid burnout as well. We can burn our members out. I think I probably talk to a member once a week who says, I'm burnt out. I've been doing this for so long. We have the same 5 members who come to every event, yada, yada, etc. So members get burnout too. So allowing them opportunities to recharge the batteries, whether that is having socials with them, doing recreational activities, maybe organizing, a golf outing or frisbee or something like that, doing things that are where they can include their family. So, going to parks and things like that so that they can include the other people that they love and spend time with them and recharge their batteries. Maybe doing movie nights. Also just saying, go home and I don't want to see you for a week, or I don't want to get an email from you, putting your phone to do not disturb, or just turning your email off and disconnecting. Those are all great ways to kind of recharge your batteries so you don't get burnout and so that your other members don't get burnout. And now Chris is going to cover a personal health and wellness checklist with us.
Thank you. So personal health and wellness, actually when I was serving as MVP, we had a talk at a retreat, and the first thing, and I really tie to health and wellness nowadays, is find your why. Why is it important to you to be more healthy? And a lot of times that response is, well, I want to, run faster, I want to lose weight. But ultimately it's like, well, why is that? Boil it down and find out exactly why you want to get either increase activity, increase wellness, or get started. And once you understand that why, then it's the biggest thing I tell everyone is write down your goal. Write down why it is you're doing it and what's your goal. By this day, I will accomplish this. And I always like to have them be specific. I will get to the gym 3 days a week. I will within 30 days, and then within 60 days, it'll be 4 days per week. I will run every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at this time, and write those goals down because it's very, very important to track everything we do. So we're going to be writing goals down. We're going to be tracking it as well. And when I say track everything, I also include food because I am a notorious snacker. And once I started tracking what I was eating in a day, I was like, holy cow. Like, it was a lot. I remember one time I was sitting at, some people may not know, but Noelle and I both served as state presidents together as well. And I was sitting next to her during a board meeting, and I think I ate almost a whole little lunch baggie of candy as I sat there because I just mindlessly snacked it. If you're
We shared that. We shared it.
We did. We did. It was wonderful. But it's, again, about tracking everything and being consciously aware of what we're doing so that we're able to hold ourselves accountable to our goal, and our goal is written by our why. And then create a fitness plan. Whatever it is that you so choose, create a plan and stick to it. I mentioned already, I will run 3 days a week, or I will make it to the gym X number of days a week, or I'm going to try a CrossFit Foundations class just to see if I might like something like that, or I'm going to take a boot camp or a boxing class or a self-defense class, something. Create the plan, write it out, and then it goes into your tracking plan. And then plan your meals, going back to the basics, knowing exactly what you're going to be eating, because it takes the stress out of it. As JCs, I know we get so tied up and so busy. And when I was a local president, past international vice president Jennifer Gracie mentioned to us, she was our state president then, she mentioned, do not be the state presidents that are going to gain 15 to 20 pounds, like our local presidents that are going to gain 15 to 20 pounds throughout the year, because you're going to be busy. You need to plan. So I every week actually sit down and I plan out my meals. I know exactly what I'm going to eat Monday through Wednesday, at which point Wednesday nights I typically recook a bunch of food, and then I know what I'm going to eat through Friday, so that I don't have to worry about it, because as JCs we get busy, and as a trainer I get very busy. I have long days, and I can come home, grab my food, heat it up, eat it. I know I'm eating well, and I'm going to meet my goals. So it makes it really worth it. And then really like the personal health and wellness checklist, because it's not just about gym time, it's also about enjoying your life. Our world is amazingly short, and if you got to take time to enjoy it. So don't be afraid to stop by and smell the flowers every once in a while, and just take time and enjoy everything you have, because realistically we're actually pretty lucky with everything we have, and we have such an amazing organization like this that we really do great things. So enjoy it, sit back, smell the roses, smile every once in a while. It's really a great thing.
Absolutely. That's such a great checklist just to, keep in mind, even no matter what your goal is. If your goal is to lose 20 pounds or to work out more, it's really so all inclusive, and that's what I really like about it. And the JCs, the national organization, also has a great checklist for your chapter so that you can check your health and wellness of your chapter. It includes items like creating a plan of action. That should be something that you create at the beginning of the year with your board, and then you really adhere to it all year. You need to make sure that you're conducting at monthly events for your members so that they're having an opportunity to get activated and to get engaged in the chapter, because that's going to help lead to retention, and it's also going to help them tell their friends, hey, we're doing such cool things in our chapter, you should come check it out, which is going to help you recruit more members. Maintaining your chapter's social media and website so that you have a great public image that you are putting out in your community and to the young people in your community, that they want to come join you. If you have a great presence and if you build a great chapter, those people are going to want to join you. Attending those regional, state, and national events, again, like we talked about, having those opportunities to really network with people outside of your community to find out what they're doing and what new and different ideas and events they're holding. Conducting an active citizen framework project, so doing those needs analysis in your community and really asking your why of why, why there is an issue in your community and getting down to that root cause of that why so that you can help create some sustainable change within your community where you live. And then reviewing your plans quarterly, your plan of action, reviewing your budget quarterly, making sure that you're staying on track with everything. And all of these items that I just mentioned are actually in the Civic Leadership Certification, or the CLC as it's more commonly known and called. And this is literally a checklist that you can complete for your chapter, and it helps you just stay on track. It has items like submitting your tax filings and your 990 and keeping your chapter legal within your state and the IRS, making sure that you're conducting those meetings, that you're attending different types of events, all of those different things. You can participate in the CLC program every year. Even if you have not started for this year, you can still track those items just so that you see what you're doing and what your chapter's doing. If you log into jcmember.com, you can see your chapter's CLC and see how it's going, and maybe even be able to check a few things off on there. So at this time, we have come to the end of tonight's webinar, but we wanted to see if you had any questions for Chris or myself about anything that we talked about tonight. And if you do, you can go ahead and put them in the chat section. Not seeing any questions come through yet. Sometimes it takes a minute. So on this slide, we have also included our contact information, so you can feel free to reach out to us via email. You can also follow us on Instagram. Mine is @Noley, N-O-L-E-Y, and then Chris is @CFCoachChris. And we have a question. Let me see if I can pull this out. Thank you. Nicole says we're doing a great job. Thanks, Nicole. And then what do you find best to help when you feel burnt out? What do you find best to help when you feel burnt out?
Well, for me, and this may come as a surprise, when I feel burnt out, one of the best things I can do for myself is make sure I get to a state or national event. Because, for example, this webinar would never happen today had I not gone to a national event and met Noelle and became friends with her. And for me, going to those when I get burnt out in JC land, because it does happen, is going to those. It recharges my batteries and it makes it a lot of fun. Otherwise, I do like to we actually have a chapter facility here in town, and we will host a movie night. And it's just, all right, bring your snacks, we'll order pizza, and we're going to sit down and watch movies. We're not going to talk business. We're just going to have fun and act like we're teenagers again. That's what I really like to do to recharge my batteries in the JC world. But when I get burnt out in the exercise world, I take a week off. I take a week off of no exercise. I'm still a trainer. I have to do my job, but I take a week off, and again, it's kind of the same thing. Just let my batteries recharge, find my mind again, and then I come back to it. But I make sure I measure my time off and say, this is all I get. I have to go back.
Yeah, I've been taking a week off for like 3 years. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I'm kidding. I went to the gym yesterday. I went to the gym yesterday. And Nicole, yeah. I love that you are literally listening to this and on the elliptical right now. That's killer. That's amazing.
I'm clapping.
Yeah, you are our hero for the day. For me, I would say when I get burnt out, and I agree with Chris, absolutely, going to a chapter or a national event just to, have the opportunity to interact with people is always great. But for me personally, when I get burnt out, I really like to roll down the window. I do this when I get stressed out too. I will go somewhere in my car. I will roll down the windows. I will turn the radio up as loud as I can and just sing and sing and sing along with the radio. That is something that I really like to do to recharge my batteries. And then I really love to spend time with my dog, taking him for hikes and walks and things like that. That always helps me kind of clear my mind as well. So. And Rachel, thank you for saying that you enjoyed this webinar. We hope that you got a lot out of it. I don't see any other questions coming in, so I'm going to assume that we've answered everyone's questions, and you're very welcome, Nicole. Thank you all for joining us this evening on the webinar. I hope that you've gotten a lot of good information out of it, some helpful tips to start living your life a little healthier and to help make your chapter a little healthier. Chris, any final thoughts from you?
Hey, just keep on plugging away, people. The road can be a rough one, but the reward's worth it. Thank you very much for having me tonight.
Thank you so much for joining us. This was great. You are an expert at this, and it was definitely not information that I would have felt comfortable and knowledgeable sharing. So you did a fantastic job. So thanks to Chris for joining us this evening. Thanks to all of you for joining us this evening. And we will join you again next month. Our topic for next month's webinar will be advocacy. So make sure you register for that when you see it on Facebook or when you see it on the website, jciusa.org. I do have confirmation that all of the webinars are now back live on the new website, and you can sign up for those. So thank you so much for your attention this evening, and I look forward to seeing you again in the future. Have a great night, everyone.
Good night, all. Thank you.
Wait, I didn't stop.